Can you check the Facebook to see if I'm live? Can you check the Facebook to see if I'm live? Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I want to make sure.
I'm Red Mike.
You are Red Mike today. Sounds good.
USA Radio News with Chris Mars.
Tropical storm Cristobal bringing the risk of severe flooding and maybe tornadoes to parts of the northern Gulf Coast today. The rain began Friday. It's expected to continue into this evening when Cristobal is expected to make landfall near Slidell, Louisiana. Before it's finished, the storm could bring as much as 6 to 12 inches of rain to parts of the Florida Panhandle. The storm is known to have spawned tornadoes as far southeast as Orlando yesterday, and forecasters say that could happen again today. In California, a Santa Cruz County Sheriff's deputy is dead and 2 other law enforcement officers wounded after a shootout involving a suspected bomb maker yesterday. 38-year-old Sergeant Damon Gutzwiller, the victim. The suspect was reportedly shot and now faces what a police official calls a myriad of charges. This is USA Radio News.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand and you care about your credit, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 6 million people with credit
7:45.
card destroy your credit. They can consolidate your debts into one lower payment,
I think so.
reduce your interest rates, and get you out of
Sort
debt
of talk
fast.
about
The program
what's going
works.
on, but
Call
in a subtle way,
Consolidated
not
Credit
in a
now.
direct way. I
Call
think
800-406-0046.
maybe not even talk about it directly,
800-406-0046. That's 800-406-0046.
Consolidated Credit Customers Service Inc. 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard. short, sweet, and less than more like that.
Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Maryland DO 1412. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation. Commission
I'm fine.
TC 83. Service may adversely affect the
I'm fine, everyone.
Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action, not a loan company.
Another in a series of memorial services for George Floyd, the man who died while in custody of 4 Minneapolis police officers. Yesterday's service held in North Carolina, where the sister of Floyd said her brother is unifying the nation against racism and police brutality. Bridget Floyd thanking everyone for attending.
To our family, it is understandable that these are difficult times for us. But please remember that God's grace is sufficient.
Michigan's Supreme Court ruling in favor of an Owasso barber who defied the Governor Gretchen Whitmer's coronavirus non-essential business shutdown order. In a unanimous decision late Friday, the state's high court cast aside the governor's efforts to fine the barber and take away his business license. The barber had said he would keep working until they cut off his hands. And you're listening to USA Radio News.
Now you
He
can
was
fly
touching the mic.
anywhere in the
You heard
world
that,
and
right?
pay
What?
discount
He was
prices
touching
on
the
your
mic. You
airline
heard that, right?
tickets. Book a flight today
Yeah.
to London, Paris, Madrid,
Like he was
or
touching
anywhere
the-
else you want to
he's
go,
doing
and
this.
pay
Yeah.
a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines. 800-215-5141. 800-215-5141. That's 800-215-5141.
The United States is closing in on a pair of grim milestones when it comes to the coronavirus pandemic, according to Johns Hopkins University researchers. Their latest report says the country is approaching 110,000 deaths and will likely reach 2 million confirmed cases before this month is over. The total number of cases more than triples Brazil, the country with the second most reported cases, and the number of deaths dwarfs that of the United Kingdom, which is reporting just under 41,000. There are just fewer than 7 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 worldwide. Fox News is apologizing for running a graphic that showed Wall Street rallies after racial unrest. The graphic ran Friday during Special Report with Brett Baer. It showed how the markets performed after Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, the acquittal of police officers in the Rodney King case, and the deaths of Michael Brown and, most recently, George Floyd. The network said it never should have run it, and that it was insensitive. The apology said more context should have been provided. The graphic was criticized on social media and by Congressman Bobby Rush of Illinois and former RNC Chairman Michael Steele. Remember, you can find us online anytime. We're at usaradio.com. And for USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests. Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro News, here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Middleboro in Review for the 7th of June, 2020. We have a really good show for you today. We're going to talk a little bit about the elections coming up in Middleboro. They are 13 days away. There are some elections coming up. They're also going to talk about the food pantry as well in Middleboro. And we're also going to talk about the senior graduation events that have been rescheduled to late July and early August as well. We're also, during the show today, going to talk about the 76th. It's been 76 years, I should say, since D-Day. We're going to talk about that as well during the show. We're going to play a little audio clip of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, his speech to the troops before D-Day. And we have a lot more as well. But we're going to start with the weather. So the weather in Middleboro, 59 degrees and mostly cloudy. However, I mean, I know that's Middleboro, but however, we are in Taunton, and I can see that not a lot of clouds out there. And 59 in Taunton. In Driscoll, Texas, 75 degrees. Actually, it's almost going to be 100 today in Driscoll, Texas, by the way. 98 degrees.
Yay.
Driscoll, North Dakota, 64, and it's going to get to 91 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Hot
some
one.
pretty hot days.
Two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, some pretty hot days. So, let's start off with talking about the Sacred Heart Food Pantry. And they are open during this time to serve households and to serve residents during this time. The Sacred Heart Food Pantry is at 53 Oak Street in Middleboro. It remains open to both existing and new households in Middleboro, Lakeville, Carver, and Rochester. Families using the pantry must live in one of these 4 towns. However, income guidelines for emergency food assistance have been temporarily waived by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The pantry has more freedom to help those facing food insecurities. New households need to call 508-947-1717 and select option 2 to register before coming to the food pantry in person. Anyone concerned with entering the food pantry should know that all recommendations for maintaining cleanliness and social distancing are being followed and have been reviewed with the Middleboro Health Department. No one displaying signs of sickness can enter the pantry. The pantry is regularly sanitize all surfaces. They limit the number of clients in the building, requiring the wearing of masks by volunteers and clients. They also insist on disinfecting of hands and wearing of disposable gloves by all volunteers and clients. Anyone with concerns about coming to the pantry under these conditions should contact the pantry at 508-947-1717, selecting option 1 to discuss alternatives such as authorizing a relative or friend to pick up food. The pantry has plenty of food. The Greater Boston Food Bank is confident it can meet the pantry's needs, so it can help anyone facing food insecurity during these uncertain times. So the Sacred Heart Food Pantry is doing a lot for the town and surrounding towns during this hard time. What are your thoughts?
Again, I'm glad you mention it every week. It's important. I think you continue to mention it. They've been a great service for the community. They've always been there. St. Vincent's, right?
The Sacred Heart Food Pantry.
Yeah, okay.
Sacred Heart Food
I'm
Pantry.
sure they've been there. They've always been there. But I mean, I think people need it. People normally, when they go to a food pantry, are going to food pantries now because there's a lot of people in the hospitality industry. They're not working, and it's gonna be a slow recovery as far as restaurants are concerned, in my opinion. It's gonna be a while before we got to full capacity. I mean, it's kind of going into snail's pace now, I think.
Yeah, so it is very important that everyone knows what services are available to them during this time.
And the volunteers, too. Good hand to the volunteers who, I mean, I think a lot of the volunteers are probably older volunteers, probably. I'm not saying all of them, but usually that's the case. Those people got outlying conditions, too, so they're taking a big risk, volunteering, helping. See, people in this country help. They risk everything to help other people. A lot of them, in my opinion. There are some selfish people, but the people who are giving and caring outweigh it, big time. So you can't really look at the selfish people because so much kind and generous people just outweigh them more. So selfish people are just a little louder and boisterous. People who care and people who are giving are relatively quiet. They just do it. They're not looking for praise. They're not looking for instant gratification. They do it because they want to help. They want to help. They want to help other people. They got a good heart. They don't. It's nothing about ego in that. It's people showing up and risking their health to help other people. That's what this country's all about. That's what this country's always been about. And the bad actors, in my opinion, is such a small percentage. But, you could have 3 people yell in a parking lot. Scream and yell, 3 people. And it's going to create attention. So that's that. So people continue to do good around this country, especially now. So that makes me feel good that you read that every week and continue to read it.
Yeah, it's very important during this time.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good. Glad you're bringing that up. I'm not sure how many people are bringing that up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the only local radio station from Middleboro anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who's listening to the station might know.
Yeah. So we mentioned last week that the high school opening, the new high school opening, was going to be pushed back. Now, there's an article that came out from South Coast today saying that the new high school will be pushed back, the opening of the new high school, to February 2021. And at the May 28th Middleboro School Committee meeting, it was announced that original plans to have students move into the new high school right after winter break have changed. As Chairman Rich Young explained, general contractors overseeing the capital project have been adhering to state and federal guidelines related to COVID-19 by having less people on site daily and with more space between workstations. The increase of sanitation measures like more gloves, face masks, and other personal protective equipment, as well as the installation of soap and hot water stations, have also been supplied on site. The new timeline of completion for the high school is sometime after school vacation in February, according to Young, which still means students relocating in 2021. He also said next year's school calendar would have to be revised. So that is from an article on South Coast Today, that the new high school has been pushed back. The opening of the new high school has been pushed back about a month to February 2021.
Yeah, a month, 6 weeks.
So that's important to mention.
I mean, that's really not a bad. They're not really a bit behind schedule too much considering everything that's going on. But I mean, they had January and February to really get things done because it was such a mild winter. So that's good. Everything will just seem to be smooth, and it's a beautiful school too, huh?
It
Tried
is.
a couple times too.
It is. It
Nice
is
job on
beautiful.
that, yeah.
It is it's great. It's very beautiful. There's a lot of.
And then they got to demo the old school, correct? After that,
I believe they will. Yes, I believe that's
that'll
going
be
to happen.
quick. Demo's quick.
Demo is really quick.
That's why I love demo.
It
It's
will.
quick and easy, and
It will probably
Yeah,
take a couple weeks, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
I remember a few years ago, I was helping out this contractor. I was driving for him, and it was a job. Actually, it was in Somerville, and they took it apart with an excavator, so tight. But it's just seeing them just grab it and pull part of the house and just put it in the dumpster, and you know. So this operator was he was brilliant because it was so tight. It was in Somerville. If anybody been to Somerville, you know how tight the houses are. And just watching that was just, I was like a kid at Christmas just watching it. Something about demolition, that's why I do it, I guess.
So, the high school graduation of 2020 will take place on August 1st. As of right now, that could still change, but as of right now, August 1st, Saturday, class of 2020 graduation ceremony. And there's also some other senior events as well, like senior prom, which will take place on Thursday, the 30th of July, from Granite Links in Quincy. And some other events, like the senior barbecue, the senior scholarship night, the last assembly, and the senior celebrations as well. So there's a lot of big events going on for the seniors that week. And thought I would just mention that as well, because that's important to keep mentioning. And if there's any changes to that, we will mention it on the show. So, it's 7:20. We're going to take a quick break to play commercials. There are several ways to listen to us. You can listen to us on Facebook, Middleboro in Review, on WVBF 1530 by Joey Driscoll is the name of the Facebook page where you can listen to us live, or you can listen to us anytime. The Audio Now number, 605-562-7958, is another way to listen. TuneIn is also another way to listen. Search Hometown Talk Radio, and you'll find us, and you'll find other great programs here on WVBF as well. You can also listen to us on YouTube. I now have a YouTube page that I made for the show. The YouTube page is called Middleboro in Review, all lowercase. And I have everything when it comes to the show up to now, well, up to last week's show, all the way up to January. This week's show will probably be up sometime this evening, or maybe earlier. So you'll be able to watch the show that way as well. And we're here at WVBF 1530 AM and 99.7 FM, broadcasting from 14 Church Green in Taunton, Massachusetts. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be...
Hey, one thing before you take a break.
Yep.
We got to give a shout out to Michelle who cut your hair. Okay? Remember, I mean, if anyone looked at, oh wow, everyone's starting to get their haircuts now. But
Yes.
she put you right up there. I called her and she got you right in there. And she was wicked busy, but she always comments about your hair. She wants you to look good because she just one of listens to you on Facebook a lot. So
Yeah.
you gotta look good for the hairdresser, okay?
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back, and we're going to talk about D-Day when we come back. All right.
All right.
Good stuff. Good segment.
Maybe back up a little bit. Breathing. I hear you breathing a little bit. Too.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
I am a little bit too close to the mic.
Yeah.
I am.
Back it up a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm definitely close to the mic.
That's why I go away from the mic. Your voice is strong enough,
I know, yeah.
and they're pretty sensitive mics.
Oh. Ugh.
But
I have a hole in my shirt.
Spark
Let me
Street
see.
Auto
I
Parts
just
located
noticed that.
48 Spark
I have a
Street
hole in my
in
shirt.
Boston, Massachusetts. The highest quality collision repair and
Oh, well.
complete auto service for your car. They are
Can't do anything about that
maybe
now.
that guy from England will tell you. Whatever he calls, right?
I have a hole in my shirt. I didn't notice that. Oh well. No problem.
Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5.
I think anyone minds.
4 on
All
Friday.
right.
Call them today. You will not be disappointed. 508-583-1495.
28. Enter.
DK Driscoll Removal Services is a company to call to get any cleanup you may need to do around your house done anytime
They call
of the year.
Jeff.
You can call them at
They call Jeff.
508-725-234.
Yeah.
They
We'll
remove
do that
construction debris,
soon.
metals, railroad ties, tires,
Yeah.
appliances, paints, and much, much more. Like concrete, brick, asphalt, yard removal,
COVID-19 PSA
brush,
290.
also basements, attics, garages,
291.
houses, and property in
Enter.
general. Again, the number is 508-725-2334. Call them today. You will not be disappointed in DK Driscoll Removal Services.
The virus that causes coronavirus disease is spreading in some of our communities. This disease, also known as COVID-19, is thought to spread mainly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs or sneezes. Take
Talking
steps
Birds
to
promo.
lower your risk of
6,
getting sick.
7.
Here are some things you should do.
We should
Wash
put
your
our mic
hands
down.
often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds.
What?
You can also
What?
use
Mic down.
hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. Take extra
Okay.
measures to put distance between yourself and others. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Stay home if you're sick, except to get medical care. If you have severe symptoms,
put it this
please
way,
call
maybe.
911.
There we go.
Cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue or the inside of your elbow.
Try to be like this,
Clean
maybe,
and disinfect frequently touched surfaces.
so that I don't.
Older adults and people who have severe chronic
This is
medical
probably
conditions
better.
like heart or lung disease.
I'm a little
or
bit further
diabetes
from the mic
are
now.
at higher risk for
A little
more
bit, so
serious illness
this might
from
be a little bit
COVID-19.
better. I
This
don't know.
group should consult with their healthcare provider about additional steps to stay protected. For more information on COVID-19, please visit cdc.gov/COVID-19.
Hi, this is Ray Brown, inviting you to tune in to Talkin' Birds, a show about wild birds, birding, and conservation, right here on WVBF, broadcasting from the Taunton Federal Credit Union studios at 14 Church Green. Join us for informative interviews and fun information about birds and birding. It's Talkin' Birds, Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 9, here on WVBF, AM 1530 and 99.7 FM.
Williams
Commercial
Trade
after
Post
this.
is a proven certified garden center and is the best shop in Middleboro for all seasonal plants and vegetables. They also sell gifts, antiques, and collectibles. They're open Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 508-947-1598 or visit them at 556 Wareham Street, Middleboro.
You know what? We'll do that
Number
next
again is
break.
508-947-1598. Their antique shop is not open at this time.
Alright. We're back. Five, four, three, two, one. And we're back here on Middleboro in Review for the 7th of June. So, before the break, we mentioned we were going to talk about D-Day. I have a little to read here about D-Day, about what it is and why it is very important. So let me get that up here. So yesterday was the marked 76 years since D-Day. And we have a little bit of a thing that I have here. So, June 6th, 1944, Allied invasion of Normandy, codenamed Operation Overlord, began with the execution of Operation Neptune, commonly referred to as D-Day. The landing of 155,000 Allied troops on the beaches of Normandy in France. The Allied soldiers quickly broke through the Atlantic Wall and pushed inland in the largest amphibious military operation in history. So we're going to play a little audio clip of General Dwight D. Eisenhower's D-Day speech. And we're going to play that right now for you here on WVBF 1530. We will be right back.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savages. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
So that was an audio clip from General Dwight D. Eisenhower. That was
D-Day, which was very important. It was the first step to the Allies winning World War II. There were many more battles after D-Day that were very important in the war, but this was really step one in trying to win World War II. And what are your thoughts about that, Don?
The liberation of Europe started that day, and all those brave men, and they just went and they fought and died, and thank God for that greatest generation. I really think that I don't know. I just really think that they were very selfless people. They just knew what they needed to do. They had a lot of love for country, a lot of pride in themselves and country. And I just think people need to take a look back at that as we move forward here. So I'm really, you can't, you just have to be honored by what they sacrificed. The most respect. And you have to always look at it that way. Because this country is the greatest country in the world. And I know we got issues right now, but looking back at those people, you didn't really hear too much rumbling back then. They just knew what to do, and they did it.
So yes, D-Day was a very important turning tide in the war. We won that battle, and about a year later, we won the war. So June 6, 1944 will always be an important date.
Yes.
So let's switch gears a little bit to talk about some elections coming up in Middleboro. The 20th of June, we're going to have an election. And I have all the positions available for that. We're just going to go through a couple. Here. There's plenty. There's a lot here. But we're going to go through some of the important ones. And they're all important. But we're just going to go through some of them here. Board of Selectmen. There are 2 selectmen seats up for 3 years. So 2 selectmen seats for 3-year terms that are going to be up in this election. School committee, 2 seats for 3 years. Board of Assessors, there's 1 assessor for 3 years. There are 2 finance committee members seats for 3 years and 1 for a 2-year term up. 1 planning board seat up for a 5-year term. And Housing Authority up for 5 years. Park Commissioners, there are 2 for a 3-year term, and we have Gas and Electric, 1 commissioner for 3 years. So those are actually all of them. There aren't a whole lot. There are 3, 6, 8 positions. So that's going to be very important to vote in these elections on the 20th of June. So just wanted to mention that. Let's switch gears to South Coast Rail, because we do have some South Coast Rail news.
Excuse me, Joe.
Yep.
Did you say that Carol Doherty didn't win?
Yes, Carol Doherty did win.
Well,
she won.
That's awesome, because she's part of
her
the
election.
family,
Yep.
BBF family.
Yes, so congratulations to Carol Doherty.
When you told me that, I was real happy for her. That was a special election, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe, yes it was.
Okay,
I believe
yeah.
so, yeah.
So yeah, that's great for Carol Doherty. Congratulations, and she's gonna be wonderful at her post. And she's such a wonderful person. I've met her so many times, dropping you off. She's just been doing the show, and I think the people of this area really, really gifted to have her. They should really, So that's really good. When I heard that she won, that made me feel good.
Congratulations, Carol Doherty. So, we have South Coast Rail. There's some South Coast Rail work done last week.
You're getting started, Joey. Come on.
Last week in Fall River, Taunton, and New Bedford.
Yeah.
So, basically, what was done, culvert and track work were done. So, this week, which was this past week, and next, there is going to be work in Fall River, Taunton, New Bedford, and nearby towns. They're going to be working on tracks, culverts, and crossings for the South Coast Rail project. So culvert and track work will be performed throughout the South Coast Rail Phase 1 corridor on the New Bedford Main Line, Fall River Secondary, and Middleboro Secondary, and the communities of Berkeley, Fall River, Freetown, Lakeville, Middleboro, New Bedford, Raynham, and Taunton. The date and time of work, Tuesday, June 2nd through Friday, June 5th, from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Monday, June 8th, and Tuesday, June the 9th, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we have also...
I wish they'd light that up. I really would. 7 to 4, 8 hours a day. We had a 9-hour day.
So we also have the Tarkland Hill Road grade crossing improvements as well going on. The date and time of work of that, and this is in New Bedford, June 2nd through Friday, June 5th. So we have all of that as well. So we have all those, and all of this grade, all of these are going to be done in the summer. The Tarkland Hill Road grade crossing is anticipated to be completed in early summer of this year. So, just wanted to mention that. So there's some new news about South Coast Rail for everyone.
Yeah, some slow news about South Coast Rail. Why can't they just light it up? Why can't they just get it done? I mean, people are waiting on this project to be done. They gotta wait 4 years to put a rail project together. Most of the infrastructure is new. Most of the bridges and overpasses are new. Those bridges are new. They're not. I don't think they're rebuilding one bridge through the Fall River section and the New Bedford section. That's been freight line, but those bridges are relatively. They've been rebuilt. I don't know why it's taking them. When's it supposed to be done? 2023.
Yes.
What's it? Why? Why is it taking so long?
Why
does these projects take so long?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's not like they're rebuilding the bridges. They're not rebuilding. I don't think they're rebuilding one bridge. They got to build a few stations. I know they got the single track and the lighting. They get all that together and stuff like that, and update the tracks. But why is it going to take 3.5, 4 years to do something? I don't know.
Not sure.
It's not like they're building these massive bridges over rivers and tunnels and all that other stuff. They're not even rebuilding half the bridges. I don't think they're rebuilding any of the overpass bridges. You're working from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. What can you get done? Nothing. They need to expedite these. They need to expedite these projects. They just need to get in and out.
Yeah.
All right. People need transportation projects now, not in 3.5 years. Plugging along, the old dog and pony show, I would say. That's what it is. Dog and pony. That's all it is.
So if we get any more information about South Coast Rail in the coming weeks,
Don't
we
tell
will.
me because I get all passionate and emotional all that.
We will send it along.
Yeah.
On this show. But let's
Just be sure to shut my mic off. Okay.
Let's switch gears to sports. We have a little bit of sports to talk about. We have what might be a date for return for the NBA. What I am hearing from reading articles, I'm hearing July the 31st or sometime in late July for a return for the NBA, which will be played at Disney World in Orlando. So that is going to be very interesting to see what they do when they come back, how they do games when they come back. There'll be 22 teams. There'll be 22 teams that do return to play. Same thing with the NHL. The NHL is going to have 24 teams, I believe. They're going to have a playoff in the NHL. And in the NBA, they're going to play some regular season games before they go on to the playoffs. So most of the championship series aren't going to be played until August at the latest. So there's your little bit of sports news. There's not a whole lot, especially in the NHL, because we don't have a concrete date of when they're going to resume. I'm hearing, late July that they might start doing training camps. So we'll have to see if there's any more news coming out in the next couple of weeks on when there's an actual date for both the NBA and the NHL to come back. Right now I'm hearing nothing when it comes to the NFL, if they're going to have games with no fans or not. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that. I have not heard. But if we do hear, we will tell everyone here on the show. So we're going to take a quick break. And we will be right back here on Middleboro in review here on WVBF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. Here at 14 Church Green in Taunton, Mass. We'll be right back.
You like when I get aggravated about the Gulf Coast Rail? Is that like sort of
Yes, because it makes good radio.
And Mark was dead against it. He voted against it.
Yeah.
He thought it was
It's a mess. It is. It's a total mess that they're just...
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows if, he's a smart guy. He knows. If you put an electric train and you shoot them down in Fall River, New Bedford, those cities are going to boom. Those are going to be the next boom towns.
Yeah.
Those cities
It's a
are like
mess.
so centrally located, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Williams Trading Post is a proven, certified garden center and is the best shop in Middleboro for all seasonal plants and vegetables. They also sell gifts, antiques,
I mean, you can get to Boston in 45 minutes from either of those cities.
All right, let's see. We're going to have about 11 minutes left in the show. What are you going to...
I don't know, you should play that.
Okay, so we'll come back with that then. Okay?
All right, I'm not sure how you want to do it and what I want to say, but I'm just going to wing it.
Wing
You have it, right?
Yeah, I have it on me.
You know what to talk about. You got to do kids, and you don't just say, that's like 4-minute clip. What is it, 5-minute clip?
It's a 5-minute clip.
Yeah,
Mostly.
just get on it, and then you get today's
From
issues.
noon to 2 o'clock here on WBBF, the sounds of the Emerald Isle. We'll have some great Irish music, some folk, traditional, country, and contemporary, and sometimes some live singers in the studio. And to make you laugh, some Irish comedy. That's Sundays from noon to 2 right here on WBBF 1530 Taunton, Middleboro, and on the internet at hometowntalkradio.com.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association is an association of combat veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces who ride motorcycles as a hobby. Our mission is to support those who have defended our country and freedoms. Our focus is to help veteran care facilities provide a warm meal, clothing,
shelter, and guidance, or simply to say thank you and welcome home. We have members from nearly all 50 states and living abroad. Many members continue to serve in our armed forces, with several serving in combat areas now. We sponsor and or participate in many motorcycle-related charity events each year. And as a nonprofit organization, donate to various veteran care facilities and veteran charities.
Today in history
to
up
learn
too.
more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
Spark Street Auto Body, located at 48 Spark
Make sure
Street,
you play Martha, right?
Massachusetts.
I did play Martha. Yep, I did. I definitely did.
What, second bedroom?
Yeah, during the first commercial.
Oh.
First commercial I did was Martha's.
$14.95. They're open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and 8 to 4 on Fridays.
Yeah, I'm gonna play
Do not be disappointed. 508-583.
your commercial. Then I'm gonna play Talking Birds, and then I'm gonna play TJ.
DK Driscoll
What about
Services is a
Talking Birds today.
Have you played,
I've played Jim
done anytime
Jim Larkin's commercial. Yes.
You can call them.
Promo. It's promo. I've done that.
725-2334.
I'll give Talking Birds an extra
Construction debris.
extra
metals,
boost.
Railroad ties,
Today.
tires, appliances, paints, and much, much more. Like concrete, brick, asphalt, yard removal, brush, logs, and leaves.
Give an extra boost
Also
here.
basements, attics, garages, houses, and property in general. Again, the number is 508-725-2334. Call them today. You will not be disappointed in DK Driscoll Removal Services.
It's a long commercial.
Hi, this is Ray Brown, inviting you to tune in to Talkin' Birds, a show about wild birds, birding, and conservation, right here on WVBF, broadcasting from the Taunton Federal Credit Union studios at 14 Church Green. Join us for informative interviews and fun information about birds and birding. It's Talkin' Birds, Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 9, here on WVBF, AM 1530 and 99.7 FM.
TJ Driscoll Construction is based in Wareham, Massachusetts, serving the South Shore area and Cape Cod for 30 years. They specialize in septic repair and landscaping. Call TJ Driscoll Construction at 508-735-7966. Septic repair, new septic systems, retaining walls, foundations, and excavation. Lawn installations, tree and shrub installations. TJ Driscoll Construction. Again, the number is 508-735-7966. Call them today. You will not be disappointed.
Alright. Maybe I'll flip it over to you first to talk a little bit. Alright. 3, 2, 1. And we're back here on Middleboro in Review. And we're going to flip it over to Dawn.
Yeah. Lot been going on the last few weeks, and I think a lot of people are confused, and we wanted to touch on it a little bit in a different kind of way. I feel people should love each other, and I know emotions run high, and very emotional time now, but there's a lot of love out there. There's a lot of good people out there. There's some bad actors, I understand that. We've always had bad actors. But we can't let the bad actors rule the day. We can't let the bad actors, shape our future. We need to shape our future. Positive. We're a good country. So, Joey's going to play something from President Kennedy. I'm not sure what year it was, but almost 60 years back. And I don't know, I think it's listen closely, because I think it's touches on everything. Whatever point of view you have, I think it's for everybody. It's for everyone's point of view, no matter how you feel. Joe?
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Those are important words by President John F. Kennedy.
Just want to add one thing on that. That was recorded almost 60 years ago. And one would say that because of the our communication has fired right up with social media and worldwide cable and just, you didn't have the coverage back then, but I think the words ring true today as far as it takes everyone to be responsible. It takes a good journalist to get the news out and not be swayed on either end, not to be biased. We got a lot of that, obviously. And it takes people on social media to be responsible of what they say, do their homework. And that's pretty much that in a nutshell across the board. Any denomination that you look at as far as who you support or who you like and this, that, and the other thing, that covers everybody. Everybody. For fair criticism and doing a good job in criticism all at the same time. Just flat across the board.
All right, we have about 2 or 3 minutes left in the show. We're going to do Today in History. So, today, June 7th, 1942, the June 7th, and the first one we're going to do is June 7th, 1942. So today, now 78 years ago, right? Yeah, 78 years ago. World War II, the Battle of Midway, ends in American victory. The Battle of Midway, another very important another important battle in the war. Battle of Midway was extremely important to the Americans in World War II.
The world.
And the world.
The world.
And the world. 1967. 6-Day War. Israeli soldiers enter Jerusalem. Birthdays on this day. 1905. James J. Braddock. American lieutenant and boxer. There was a movie made after James J. Braddock, and that movie is called Cinderella Man. Very, very good film. 1917, Dean Martin, American singer, actor, and producer. 1952, Liam Neeson, or Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars.
Episode 1.
Yep. 1958, Prince, American singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and actor. 1959, Mike Pence, the 48th Vice President of the United States, the current Vice President of the United States. Deaths on this day, Bill France Sr., American race car driver and businessman, co-founded NASCAR. And in 2015, Christopher Lee, English actor, or in Star Wars, Count Dooku.
Episode 2 and 3.
All right, so that'll do it for today's program.
You got 30 seconds left?
I'm over by like 90 seconds here.
All right,
I was going to say 90 minutes. No, I'm not. 90 seconds. 90 seconds.
Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week. All right. Good show.
Yeah.
All right.
You think that Kennedy thing was good?
Yeah, that needed to be played.
Everyone's got their talking points of what they should do and say, and sometimes it's redundant. You know what I mean? That people don't want to hear people from this day and age. You know, you look back in history, and sometimes words from years ago is the right recipe.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Definitely.
That was, you know, just
Sure.
that was mentioned to me yesterday that we should talk about that, and I was just like, I didn't want to do a full approach. Full frontal, you know what I mean?
Thank you everyone for listening. We're going to talk next week. Not sure what we're going to have for the show next week, but maybe I'll go live during the week and maybe give a little preview about the show for next week. So talk to everyone next week. Bye-bye.